Welcome guys, I am Mr. Veracious and today we'll be looking at IQ as a predictor of success. Well, in the previous video we said that IQ is a rough one because you cannot improve your IQ, and I differentiated IQ into fluid and crystal intelligence, and I explained that fluid intelligence is actually what is called IQ. Well, you cannot actually improve it because 70% of it is contributed by your gene and early childhood learning and development. So what I'm trying to say is that if your IQ is low, then you have little to worry about because you can still improve on your level of conscientiousness. And of course, because most people confuse people who are conscientious as people who have high IQ, and you see, a conscientious man will always struggle and strive to achieve everything and will struggle to be at the top in everything he does. So, well, I think that's a consolation for most of us with low IQ. But let me emphasize this. You see, you need to choose a job that your IQ is sufficient for, so that you don't make life terrible for the organization you work for and even for yourself. Because you see, you don't need to be the most stupid person in the room, because, well, that's crazy for you. Because even you will not be proud of yourself, and then you don't also have to be the smartest person in the room, because, well, that means the time has come for you to change the room. Because see, you need to be in a strata of occupation and a strata of career that well, if you're at the top, you've mastered it, and then if you're below, you have something to work to become. And then if you are at the topmost level, then you need to change the room, because you should have somewhere else for you to go. So why is IQ really very important? Well, the major reason is that if you pick a job that your IQ is good enough for, there is a tendency that you'll be among the 75th percentile of the people in that industry or occupation. Well, what I'm trying to say is that there's 75, that's 25 persons in that profession, so that you will become a big fish in a small pond. So in any profession, whether you want to become an agriculturalist, a teacher, a medical doctor, an engineer, whatever profession, a barrister, whatsoever you think you want to become, once your IQ is good enough, then you're bound to. Once your IQ is good enough and then you're conscientious, you're bound to be at the top of that profession. You see, for instance, if your IQ is above 130 or 130 and above, which is seen to be a very high IQ, then you can pick any choice, any course, any career, whether in science, whether in art, whether in humanities, and you will fly, because those guys are disruptors, they are world changers, they are people that invent things. So, however, if your IQ is between, let's say, 116 to 130, you can go for, your probable job might be jobs like attorney jobs. So you can go for engineering, you can go for medicine and surgery, you can become an accountant, you can become a research analyst, you can become a mathematician, you can become quite a number of things. So at that level, you can compete very well and you can challenge other intellectuals in that field. Because I think the problem in Africa, well, Nigeria, because I'm a Nigerian, is that most African parents try to pressure their children into picking a profession that they think are better paying profession. And that's because if you talk to some of them, you hear things like the child can cope. But the problem is whether the child copes or not. The problem is rather whether the child can compete intellectually with other stars in that profession and come out well. Because, well, that's what predicts success. You become successful if among the top in your professions, one can point at you and say that this person is someone I want to be like in this profession, and then one can begin to say that you're successful. Because if your success has not impacted your world, well, I will say that you're not really that successful. So you really need to check IQ, because I tell you the truth, your choice of career, if it is based on passion and interest, then there is a problem. Because some of the times your passion and interest doesn't really give you, doesn't necessarily make you successful. There are certain things that predict success, and IQ is one of them, and then conscientiousness is another one. So you really need to strive to understand or know the level of your IQ, and then if it's not good enough, you really need to work on your conscientiousness. Because, well, the two, you can adjust conscientiousness. If you're a lazy person, if you cannot work hard, you can begin to consciously be disciplined and begin to change in conscientiousness. But, well, you cannot do anything about your IQ. The only thing you can do about IQ is to maintain it. So in conclusion, what is this video trying to tell you? As much as possible, when you're trying to make choice of career for yourself, for your children, or for anyone you need to advise, understand that IQ plays a crucial role, and it should be looked at, so that whether someone plans to become a driver, a motorist, an engineer, the IQ should just be good enough, and then that person will become successful. Because, well, the profession you study has nothing to do with success prediction. So thank you for listening once again. Mr. Veracious.